I have played hundreds of horror games in my entire lifetime, but nothing compares to this game. If you don't consider this game a masterpiece, then you're simply not a real gamer. This is definitely a game of the year, and that game is the SpongeBob horror game. All jokes aside, Alan Wake 2 is amazing, and wow, what an experience. Oh, and can we ignore the people who are calling this game a walking simulator? The game is not a walking simulator. In fact, it is far from that. And considering the fact that the first game, which I did a review on, is more of a action thriller, this one, they go full survival horror. Now, Alan Wake 2 does take some time to kind of pick up the pace. I will admit it does start off kind of slow, but considering that this is a story-driven game, which by the way, there will be no spoilers in this video, this game needs this sort of build-up, especially for a game that we've waited, what, 13 years for a sequel? Even if you've played the first game, this story is going to confuse the heck out of you. And it's very easy to miss a lot of things on your first playthrough. My footage also got corrupted, so I'll be using some YouTubers footage. So thank you to them. I don't know who it is, but when I edit this video, then I'll know. But the gameplay in this game is great. And yeah, we got to talk about the gameplay, right? It's like the most important part. At least for me, it is. You know, I'm all for graphics and the game looks amazing, by the way. This game is gorgeous. Don't get me wrong. I love the RE4 remake. That is still my favorite horror game of the year, but that game does not look better than Alan Wake 2. Alan Wake 2 is probably the best looking horror game, if not the best looking game of the year. But back to the gameplay, which to me, gameplay is more important than graphics. Sure, I can appreciate good graphics, but to me, it's all about that gameplay, right? That's why I play Garfield Kart Furious Racing, okay? That gameplay is 10 out of 10. But seriously, the gameplay in this game, it's a little more sluggish compared to the first game. I would actually say it plays a lot more like The Last of Us, and you could definitely feel the inspiration here. And if you're a Resident Evil fan, which majority of you probably are because this is a Resident Evil channel, and if you didn't like the first game, I almost guarantee you're gonna love this game. Alan Wake 2 plays, in my opinion, nothing like the first game. This plays way more like the Resident Evil 2 remake. It's slow paced, it's creepier, it's scarier, it's very, very much heavier on the whole survival horror emphasis, because the first game, towards like the second half, they kind of just threw all this ammo at you. And the second game, if you're careful with your shots and if you're manageable with your resources, you could definitely save up a lot of ammo and healing items. But the combat is much more challenging because the first game you can run around and the dodge was a little more clunky, but you know, it was manageable. In Alan Wake 2, you can easily get overrun and you can die a lot quicker. I mean, 2 or 3 hits and you're already about to die. I mean, the combat in this game is definitely a lot more challenging in my opinion, but not as challenging as trying to figure out the story in this game, because again, the game has this balance of you trying to figure out what's going on, but also kind of telling you what's going on, if that makes sense. And if it didn't make sense, well, I don't blame you, because half this game didn't make sense to me, but that's not a negative, by the way. I think that's good, because considering that this is somewhat of a detective story, if you want to call it that, I like the idea of trying to figure things out on my own. And the characters in this game, I mean, there wasn't a single character that I didn't like. And which character did I like the most? Well, Alan Wake, the guy on the cover. I don't know, in the first game, he was new to all of this. He didn't know what was going on, so he was more of a confused like character more than anything. In this game, he's confused, but it almost seems like he's more confident, like he knows what he's going for. In the first game, Alan Wake is like, what's going on? Where's my wife? And in this game, he's like, okay, so that's going on. All right, we got to go here and we got to do this to figure out more of the story. The character dynamics and everyone's story arc, I mean, it all comes together so well, and Remedy deserves all of the praise in the world for developing a sequel, especially after 13 years. Then there's other cool features in this game, like how when you play as Alan, you can teleport to the plot board, and you could simultaneously go from the plot board to the actual, you know, dark place. And same with Saga's character, who is a completely brand new character in this game. And And same thing with her. You can go from the real world to, you know, the mind place, which is essentially the place where, you know, she's an FBI agent, so it's the place where she figures out clues and she pieces things together. Things like this are what reel me into the story. It's what made me get more involved and more, I guess, invested in the story. I really wanted to know, okay, what was gonna happen next? The first game, I didn't quite feel that way. Even though I really liked the story in the first game, I didn't have that same feel that the second game gave me. And even though this game has a lot of comparisons to other games and movies, I have never played a game like Alan Wake 2. I mean, this game really is a thrill ride, and I feel like it does so many unique things that I have not seen in any other video game. The live action segments are done so well, and I think Remedy is just a master at this. And this wouldn't be a Rapid Crafter video game review if I didn't talk about the music. I am a sucker for music. I absolutely love music in horror games, especially when it's really good. Come on. Now, I don't want to sound like that guy that's like, nothing scares me in video games. I never get scared. But I've been playing horror games since I was like 4 years old, okay? So I'm at that point in life where horror games just don't scare me anymore. Horror movies don't scare me. Horror games don't scare me. I just play them for the gameplay. I just watch horror movies for the movie. I don't really enjoy these things to get scared because I kind of expect myself to not get scared. And Alan Wake 2 is the first game in a very, very long time that genuinely jump scared me at times, or genuinely had me on the edge of my seat. I mean, it's terrifying, and I kept turning around because I was like, oh my god, is there someone behind me? But something about this game's atmosphere, the sound design, the music, it all came together so well, and I don't know how Remedy did it. I was never a fan of the studio until I played the first Alan Wake, and now they're one of my favorite game development studios. People have said that this game is boring and it's a walking simulator, and I totally get that. You can find a game boring, but that doesn't mean it's bad. And I'm just gonna say it, this is probably in my top 3 favorite games of the entire year. I went from not caring about Alan Wake 2 to playing the first game, becoming a fan of Alan Wake, and then loving the second game. It's insane. If you played Alan Wake 2, I would love to hear your thoughts on the game. Oh, I guess I should probably give it a rating, right? This is a review after all, so I'm probably gonna give this a 9 out of 10. But now I want to hear your thoughts, and if you've played Alan Wake 2, what are your thoughts? And if you haven't yet, what are you doing? Click off this video right now and go buy it. I promise you, it's good. But if you liked what you saw, then be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're new around here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to check out my other video here, and I will catch you all in the next one.